My best friend ghosted me after her wedding. So I used our shared cloud album to expose how she stole my wedding photos to fake her own marriage. There are moments in life that seem small when they happen. You don't stop to question them, you just move on. But sometimes those small moments grow into something much bigger. This is one of those stories where everything made sense, just a little too late. The first time I saw it, I thought it was a glitch. I was scrolling through Instagram at 2 a.m., bleary-eyed from editing a client's elopement shoot, when Lena's face appeared in my feed, framed by wildflowers, glowing in golden hour light, wearing a lace dress I'd never seen before. "Forever starts today," the caption read. My soul found its home. Mrs. Chen, sheer Portland wedding. My breath stopped, because that wasn't Lena's wedding dress. It was mine. And that wasn't her fiancé. It was Ethan, my ex, who'd broken up with me 6 months before our wedding. The photo was unmistakably from our engagement shoot. The same field in Sauvie Island, the same sun flare, the same way I'd tucked my hair behind my ear. But Lena's face had been digitally grafted over mine. Ethan's arm, once around my waist, now encircled her. I clicked through her profile. Dozens of posts. A first dance video, our rehearsal footage, audio replaced. A honeymoon in Big Sur, our scouting trip, faces swapped. A registry thank you post featuring gifts I'd returned after the breakup, all time-stamped over the past 4 months. All tagged are Lena and Daniel. But there was no Daniel. Just Ethan's face, slightly blurred, never speaking, never shown in full-body shots. I texted Lena immediately. "What is this?" No reply. I called, straight to voicemail. I checked our shared Google Photos album, Besties Forever, the one we'd used since college for concert pics, road trips, birthday parties. It was still there. And in the recently deleted folder, over 200 photos of me and Ethan, all removed 3 days before her first wedding post. She hadn't just ghosted me. She'd stolen my life. For weeks, I told myself it was a mistake, a weird art project, anything but the truth. But then I saw the GoFundMe. Help Lena and Daniel start their forever. Medical bills plus dream home down payment. $47,000 raised? From our friends. From my mom. That's when I knew this wasn't a prank. It was fraud. And I had the evidence. Because cloud metadata doesn't lie. I downloaded every original photo from our shared album. Timestamps intact, GPS coordinates embedded, EXIF data showing my camera model. Then I created a private folder titled The Truth About Lena Chen. I didn't post it. Didn't scream. I waited. Because people who fake weddings don't stop at photos. They need proof. And sooner or later, Daniel would have to show up. 2 weeks later, a man claiming to be Daniel Chen messaged me on LinkedIn. "Lena says you're upset about the wedding. Can we talk?" I accepted his request and started recording. The LinkedIn message arrived on a Tuesday afternoon while I was editing headshots for a local nonprofit. "Hi Jenna, my name is Daniel Chen. Lena mentioned you've been upset about our wedding posts. I'd love to clear the air. Can we talk?" Attached was a profile photo. A man in his early 30s, clean cut, wearing a navy blazer, standing in front of what looked like a tech office. The name Daniel Chen was verified. His job title, Product Manager at Viridian Labs. I stared at the screen, heart pounding. This was it, the weak link in her fantasy. I accepted the connection request. Then I did 3 things. Enabled screen recording on my laptop, searched Daniel Chen Viridian Labs on Google, cross-referenced his profile photo with reverse image search. The results were chilling. His LinkedIn photo, a stock image from a corporate headshot site, listed under Asian male executive neutral background. Viridian Labs, a real company, but no Daniel Chen on their leadership page. And the email he used to message me? A Gmail address, not a corporate one. He wasn't just fake. He was lazy. I replied, "Sure. What's this about?" He responded instantly, "Lena's really hurt you're not happy for her. She said you've been spreading rumors." I kept my tone neutral. "I just saw the wedding photos. They look familiar." A pause, then, "Oh, yeah, she told me you guys use the same photographer. Weird coincidence, right?" My fingers flew across the keyboard. Actually, that was my engagement shoot, with my ex, Ethan. Another pause, longer this time. When he replied, his tone shifted, smoother, more rehearsed. "Wow, that's wild. Must be a mix-up. Lena's been so stressed with the wedding planning, she probably grabbed the wrong folder. You know how it is." But I'd already screenshot everything, and I'd noticed something else, his typing patterns. He used double spaces after periods, capitalized random words, phrases like, "you know how it is," and "wild coincidence." Exactly how Lena texted when she was nervous. This wasn't a man. It was Lena, posing as her own husband. I pressed further. So you've never actually met me? Nope. First time hearing your name, he wrote. I sent a photo, one of me and Lena at her 28th birthday party, arms around each other laughing. You sure? Because Lena and I are best friends. He didn't reply for 10 minutes. When he did, the message was clipped. Gotta run to a meeting. Talk soon. Then he blocked me, but it was too late. I'd already captured everything. The stock photo, the fake email, the linguistic tells, and most damning of all, I'd tricked him into admitting he'd never met me, even though Daniel was supposedly Lena's fiancé of 2 years. That night, I dug deeper. I checked Lena's Instagram geotags. Her honeymoon posts were all from Big Sur, but the lighting and shadows matched photos I'd taken during a scouting trip with Ethan in April. I overlaid the images in Photoshop. The rock formations, the angle of the sun, even the position of a lone cypress tree, they were identical. She'd used my original files as templates, then pasted her face over mine. Then I found the GoFundMe donor list. My mom had given $500, my college roommate $250. Even my old boss chipped in. All told, 142 people had donated, most of them mutual friends who believed Lena had finally found love after years of bad relationships. The betrayal wasn't just personal. It was communal. I spent the next week building my case. I created a side-by-side comparison video. Left screen, my original engagement photos. Right screen, Lena's wedding posts, with timestamps, metadata, and GPS coordinates flashing beneath each frame. I titled it, How My Best Friend Stole My Life to Fake a Marriage. But I didn't post it. Not yet. Because I needed one more thing, proof she'd done this before. I called her older sister May, who'd always been kind to me. After some gentle prodding, May admitted, Lena's been lying about relationships since college. Remember Mark? The med student? He never existed. She made up texts, photos, even a fake breakup letter. My blood ran cold. This wasn't a one-time scam. It was a pattern. And now, with $47,000 in donations and a fabricated marriage, she'd escalated to fraud. I filed a report with the Oregon Department of Justice's Consumer Protection Division, contacted GoFundMe's fraud team, and quietly shared my evidence with 3 mutual friends who'd donated, asking them to request refunds. Within days, the GoFundMe was frozen. Lena's Instagram went private. And then, on Friday night, she called me for the first time in 5 months. Her voice was trembling. Jenna, please, take down whatever you're planning. I'll pay everyone back. What about the truth? I asked softly. I'll tell them it was a joke, she pleaded. A stupid, messed up art project. Just don't ruin my life. I thought of my mom crying when she told me about Lena's wedding, of my friends who'd toasted Daniel at parties, of the real pain caused by a lie wrapped in pretty filters. I'm not ruining your life, Lena, I said. You did that when you stole mine. I hung up. And the next morning, I uploaded the video. Not to Instagram, not to TikTok, to YouTube. With one caption, this is what digital fraud looks like. Share if you've ever been erased to make someone else's story look real. Within hours, it had 100K views. By sunset, Tar's fake wedding was trending in Portland. And Lena Chen? She vanished from the internet entirely. But I knew she was watching. Because justice doesn't need an audience. It just needs the truth to be seen. 2 days later, a man showed up at my door claiming to be the real Daniel Chen. And he had receipts proving Lena had catfished him too. He stood on my porch at 7:03 p.m., silhouetted against the fading Portland light, tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a worn leather jacket and holding a manila envelope like it might explode. His face was unfamiliar, but his eyes held the same exhausted disbelief I'd seen in the mirror for weeks. Jenna Morales? He asked, voice rough. I didn't open the screen door. Who's asking? My name is Daniel Reyes. Not Chen, Reyes. He ran a hand through his dark hair, frustration etched into every line of his face. And I think you just exposed the woman who stole $22,000 from me. My breath caught. Reyes, not Chen. Of course. Lena had borrowed her fake husband's last name from her college roommate. I studied him. The genuine confusion, the lack of rehearsed charm, the way his knuckles whitened around the envelope. This wasn't an actor. This was a victim. I let him in. He sat at my kitchen table, the envelope trembling slightly in his hands. I met her on Hinge 6 months ago. She said her name was Lena Chen. Said she was a graphic designer. Showed me photos of, well, you. He looked up, pain flashing in his eyes. I thought she was beautiful. Kind. We talked for weeks. Then she said her mom was sick, needed surgery. Asked if I could help. I already knew where this was going. I sent her money, he continued, voice hollow. First $500, then $2,000, Then she said the hospital required upfront payment for a private room. I maxed out a credit card. He opened the envelope and slid out bank statements, screenshots of Venmo transfers, even a notarized loan agreement Lena had forged. By the time I asked to meet in person, she ghosted me, changed her number, deleted her profile. He looked at me, really looked at me. Then I saw your video, and I realized the woman in those photos isn't her. It's you. I nodded slowly. She used my life to build hers. We sat in silence for a long moment, two strangers bound by the same thief. Then he said something that chilled me. She's done this before. I found a Reddit thread. 3 other guys in Seattle, all scammed the same way. Same sob story, same fake engagement photos. My blood ran cold. This wasn't just about me or him. This was a pattern. A business. I pulled up my laptop and showed him my evidence. The metadata, the GoFundMe, the linguistic analysis proving she'd posed as Daniel herself. His face hardened with each revelation. "We need to go to the police," he said. But I shook my head. "They'll say it's civil fraud. Hard to prosecute without physical harm." I paused. "But there's another way." I told him about the Oregon DOJ complaint I'd filed. About GoFundMe freezing the account. About the 142 donors demanding refunds. "What if we give them more?" I said. "What if we show this isn't just one scam? It's a network." Over the next 48 hours, Daniel and I became unlikely allies. He tracked down 2 of the Seattle victims through Reddit. I contacted every donor on the GoFundMe list. Together, we built a timeline. January, Lena creates fake Hinge profile using my photos. February begins relationship with Daniel Reyes. Requests first loan. March, launches GoFundMe using edited wedding photos. April, ghosts. Daniel shifts focus to GoFundMe donations. May, creates fake Daniel Chen LinkedIn to discredit me. It was methodical, calculated, cold. On the 3rd day, Daniel handed me a flash drive. I recovered deleted texts from my old phone. She promised to marry me in Portland this summer. Even sent a fake venue contract. I plugged it in. And there it was, a PDF for the Fields Park dated June 15th, our original wedding date. The one Ethan and I had booked before he left. She hadn't just stolen my photos. She'd stolen my future. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept seeing Lena's face, the way she'd hugged me after my breakup, whispering, "You deserve better, Jen." All while planning to use my grief as her cover. The next morning, I made a decision. I called the Portland Police Bureau's Financial Crimes Unit, filed a formal report for identity theft, fraud, and unauthorized use of intellectual property. Submitted everything, the cloud metadata, the GoFundMe records, Daniel's bank statements, the fake venue contract. Then I did something harder. I called my mom. She answered on the first ring, voice bright. "Jen, did you see Lena's wedding photos? She looks so happy." My throat tightened. "Mom, those photos are mine, from my engagement shoot. Lena never got married. It's all fake." Silence. Then a soft, broken, "Oh, honey." I walked her through it, the GoFundMe, the catfishing, the stolen images. By the end, she was crying. I gave her $500. I thought she'd finally found love. "I know, Mom. But now we can help stop her from hurting anyone else." Later that day, GoFundMe officially refunded all donors. The platform banned Lena's account, and the Oregon DOJ opened a formal investigation. But the real victory came that evening. Daniel texted me, "One of the Seattle guys just got a partial refund. She's scared, Jenna. She knows we're closing in." I looked out my window at the rain-slicked streets of Portland, the city where I'd planned to marry, where I'd lost love, where I'd been erased. Now I was being seen. Not as a victim, but as the truth teller. And Lena? She was running out of lies. Lena's apartment was empty when police served the warrant, but on her kitchen counter they found a printed photo of me and Ethan with one word scrawled on the back. "Sorry." The problem? The handwriting didn't match hers. The police raid happened on a Tuesday morning while I was editing a client's newborn photos. Detective Ruiz called just after 10 a.m., her voice tight with controlled urgency. "Ms. Morales, we served the search warrant at Lena Chen's apartment this morning. She's gone. But we found something unusual." My fingers froze over the keyboard. "What?" "A printed photo of you and Ethan from your engagement shoot. On the back, someone wrote, 'Sorry.'" She paused. "But the handwriting doesn't match Lena's. Not even close." Ice flooded my veins. "Who does it match?" "We ran it through our database. It matches Ethan Cole, your ex-fiancé." I nearly dropped my phone. Ethan? The man who'd left me 6 months before our wedding, with a text that read, "I can't do this. Don't wait." The man whose face Lena had grafted onto her fake husband. "Are you sure?" I whispered. Positive, Ruiz said. We also found a burner phone hidden in her mattress. Last call made 3 days ago, to Ethan's number. The world tilted. All this time I'd thought Lena acted alone. But what if she hadn't? What if Ethan had given her the photos, encouraged the scam? Or worse, what if he'd been in on it from the start? I spent the next hour digging through old messages, cloud backups, anything that might connect them. Nothing. They'd never met. Lena had only seen him in my photos. But then I remembered something. 2 weeks before our breakup, Ethan had asked for a copy of our engagement album. For my mom, he'd said. She's sick. Wants to see us happy. I'd sent him a Dropbox link. He'd never downloaded it until after we broke up. I checked the activity log. April 2, 2025, 3:17 a.m. File accessed by ecole.personal@gmail.com. The same night Lena created her fake Hinge profile. My hand shook as I called Detective Ruiz back. Ethan gave her the photos. He knew what she was doing. But Ruiz wasn't convinced. Accessing a file isn't conspiracy. We need proof he collaborated. I needed more. So I did the one thing I never thought I'd do again. I called Ethan. He answered on the 4th ring, voice groggy like I'd woken him. Jenna? What's wrong? Did you give Lena Chen our engagement photos? I asked, skipping pleasantries. Silence. Then who? Don't play dumb. You downloaded them April 12th. She used them to fake a marriage, scammed people out of $70,000. Another pause. Longer this time? When he spoke, his voice was raw. I didn't give them to her. I swear. But I might know how she got them. He told me everything. After our breakup, he'd spiraled. Started drinking. One night, drunk and lonely, he'd posted a blurry screenshot of us on a private Reddit thread titled, "How do I fix losing the love of my life?" A user named LenaC89 replied, "She's better off without you. Let her go." They messaged privately. She claimed to be my best friend, said I was devastated, that I'd never trust again. Ethan, drowning in guilt, confided in her, sent her the Dropbox link so she could show Jenna I still cared. I didn't think, he admitted, voice cracking. I was selfish, stupid. But I didn't know she'd use it like this. Now it made sense. Lena hadn't just stolen my photos. She'd weaponized Ethan's grief to get them. But the apology note? That was new. Later that afternoon, Daniel showed up at my door, rain dripping from his jacket. "I found something," he said, handing me a printout. On Lena's old laptop, the one police seized but haven't fully analyzed yet. A draft email she never sent. I scanned the text. "Jenna, I never meant for it to go this far. I just wanted people to stop asking when I'd get married. To stop pitying me. You had everything, love, talent, a future. I just wanted a piece of that light. I'm so sorry. L." My breath caught. This wasn't the note on the photo. This was real. Raw. Human. "She's not a monster," Daniel said quietly. "She's broken." I thought of all the times Lena had cried in my arms about being the single friend, about her parents' constant pressure, about feeling invisible next to my perfect life. I'd comforted her, listened, never once realizing she saw my joy as a mirror for her emptiness. That evening, I met Detective Ruiz at the precinct. She handed me a file. We tracked Lena to a bus station in Eugene. She bought a one-way ticket to Albuquerque. But here's the thing. She withdrew $8,000 in cash the day before she left. And she left her cat behind. Abandoned pets. A rushed escape. A handwritten apology in someone else's script. "She's running," I said. "But she's not proud of what she did." Ruiz studied me. "You're not angry?" "I am," I admitted. "But I also understand she didn't steal my photos because she hated me. She stole them because she thought she'd never have what I had." The detective nodded slowly. "Still doesn't make it right." "No," I agreed. "But it makes her human." As I walked home through the rain, I realized something. Justice didn't have to mean prison. It could mean exposure. Accountability. A chance to make things right. So I made a decision. I drafted a new post, not to shame Lena, but to warn others. I included red flags of digital catfishing, tips for verifying online relationships, and resources for fraud victims. At the end, I wrote, "Some people don't steal out of malice. They steal because they've been taught their own story isn't enough. But the answer isn't to take someone else's life. It's to write your own." I didn't tag Lena. Didn't name her. Just shared the truth. And for the first time since this began, I felt peace. Because the real revenge wasn't destroying her. It was refusing to become her. 3 weeks later, a package arrived at my door with no return address. Inside, $47,000 in cash, a USB drive labeled "All Originals Deleted," and a note in Lena's handwriting. "I'm getting help. Thank you for not making me a villain. The package arrived on a Thursday wrapped in brown paper, no return address, just my name handwritten in neat, familiar script, Lena's. My hands trembled as I opened it on my kitchen table, the same spot where I'd first seen her fake wedding photos. Inside, a stack of cash totaling $47,000, every penny from the GoFundMe, a USB drive labeled All Originals Deleted, a folded note in her handwriting. I'm getting help. Thank you for not making me a villain. No excuses. No justifications. Just accountability. I plugged in the USB drive. It contained a single video file. Lena appeared on screen, pale, tired, sitting in what looked like a small apartment with desert light streaming through the window. She wore no makeup, her hair pulled back simply. When she spoke, her voice was quiet, raw, stripped of the performative brightness I'd known for 10 years. I don't expect forgiveness, she began, eyes fixed on the camera. But I need you to know I've stopped lying. To others. To myself. She explained everything. The crushing pressure from her parents to marry by 30. The shame of being the single friend while I planned my wedding. How seeing my engagement photos triggered a spiral of envy and self-loathing. How one lie led to another until she couldn't find her way back. I thought if I could just look happy, I'd feel it, she whispered. But faking love made me feel emptier than ever. Then came the hardest part. I used your joy as a costume. And that's the cruelest theft of all. She confirmed she'd repaid Daniel Reyes and the Seattle victims. Said she'd enrolled in therapy in Albuquerque, and that she'd contacted GoFundMe to process direct refunds to every donor. I'm not asking for your friendship back, she said, tears welling. Just thank you for showing me the truth without destroying me. The video ended with a single frame. A photo of us in college, arms around each other, laughing under string lights at a campus festival. The caption, real. Then, now. I sat in silence for a long time after it finished. Not angry, not relieved, just sad. For the years of insecurity that led her here. For the pain she caused trying to fill a void no stolen life could ever fill. That evening, I met Daniel at our usual coffee shop. I showed him the video. He watched it twice, then sighed. She's not evil, he said quietly. She's just lost. I nodded. And now she's trying to be found. We decided together we wouldn't press criminal charges. The Oregon DOJ had already frozen her assets and the civil restitution was complete. Further punishment wouldn't heal anyone. It would just bury her deeper in shame. Instead, I did something unexpected. I created a new Instagram account, not for exposure, but for education. I called it Real Over Perfect. My first post was simple. Comparison is the thief of joy. But so is pretending. You don't need someone else's life to be worthy of love. Your real story is enough. Beneath it, I shared red flags of digital catfishing, resources for fraud victims, and a link to a free online course on digital literacy for seniors and young adults. I didn't mention Lena, didn't name names, just offered tools so others wouldn't fall into the same trap. Within days, the account gained traction. People shared their own stories of fake relationships, stolen identities, curated lies that collapsed under scrutiny. A nonprofit reached out to partner on a digital safety workshop. Even my old photography school invited me to speak about ethical image use. My pain had become purpose. 2 weeks later, I received an email from Lena's therapist with Lena's permission. She's doing the work. It's slow. It's hard. But she's showing up. Thank you for leaving the door cracked. I didn't reply. Some boundaries need to stay intact. But I also didn't block her number when it popped up months later. Just let it ring. Because healing isn't about reunion. It's about release. One rainy afternoon in November, I was editing a client's family portraits when my mom called. Jen, she said, voice soft. I saw your Real Over Perfect post today. About how joy doesn't need an audience. She paused. I'm proud of you. Not just for exposing the lie, but for choosing kindness after. Tears filled my eyes. Thanks, Mom. Later, I walked to the park where Ethan and I used to feed ducks. I didn't go to mourn. I went to remember the good parts, the real parts, the parts that were mine alone. As I sat on our bench, a young couple passed by, laughing, holding hands. The woman glanced at me and smiled. And for the first time in a long time, I smiled back. No performance, no filter, just me. Because the greatest revenge wasn't watching Lena fall. It was building a life so authentically mine, no one could ever steal it again. 6 months later, I received a wedding invitation. Not Lena's, but from a stranger who'd followed a Real Over Perfect. Her note read, "You taught me to choose real love over perfect lies. Now I'm marrying the man who knew me before the filters." True justice wasn't punishment. It was prevention. The wedding invitation arrived on a Tuesday wrapped in handmade paper tied with twine. No gold foil, no designer logo, just simple, elegant script. You showed me that real love doesn't need an audience. Now I'm marrying the man who knew me before the filters. Mia and David. Mia wasn't a friend. Not even an acquaintance. She was a stranger who'd followed a reel over perfect from its first post. In her note, she wrote, "Your story saved me from marrying a man who only loved my Instagram persona. I walked away, found someone who loves my messy kitchen, my anxiety days, my unfiltered laugh. Thank you for teaching me that real is enough." I held the invitation in my hands, tears blurring the ink. This was it, the true measure of justice. Not prison sentences or public shaming, but prevention. One life changed because someone chose truth over performance. By then, our Real Over Perfect had grown into something I never expected. A community of over 200,000 people sharing unfiltered stories about online deception, digital literacy, and the courage to be seen as they are. We'd partnered with schools, hosted workshops, even launched a free toolkit for parents navigating social media with teens. My photography business had shifted too. I now specialized in authentic portrait sessions, where clients came as they were. No retouching, no poses, just presence. Lena never reached out again. But 6 months after her video, I received a final email from her therapist. She's doing well. Started a support group for women struggling with comparison and identity. She calls it the Real Room. She'll never contact you, but she thanks you every day. I didn't reply. Some boundaries are acts of love too. Ethan? He sent a letter once, just a few lines. "I'm sorry I gave her the key to your light. I hope you've found your way back to it." I kept it in my journal. Not as a relic of what was lost, but as a reminder that even broken people can choose better. One spring afternoon, I stood in my studio photographing a mother and her daughter, both wearing mismatched socks, hair slightly messy, laughing at a joke only they understood. The client looked at the preview screen and whispered, "It's not perfect, but it's us." "Exactly," I said. "That's why it's beautiful." Later, as I walked home through Portland's blooming cherry trees, I passed a young woman sitting on a bench, scrolling through her phone. She looked up, caught my eye, and smiled. Not the curated, filtered smile I'd seen 1,000 times online, but a real one. Warm, present, human. I smiled back. That night, I updated Real Over Perfect with a new post. Revenge isn't watching liars fall. It's building a world where truth is the bravest thing you can wear. Keep showing up. Keep being real. You're enough, exactly as you are. Beneath it, I shared a photo, not of me, but of the mother and daughter from today's session. Mid-laugh, sunlight catching the crumbs on their shirts. Within hours, the post had thousands of shares. Comments poured in. This is what healing looks like. I deleted my dating apps today, starting fresh with my real self. Thank you for reminding us that authenticity is the ultimate rebellion. I didn't respond to them all, but I read everyone. And in each, I saw a reflection of my own journey. From the woman who let her joy be stolen to the one who now protected others' right to be real. A week later, I received a call from a national nonprofit. They wanted to fund a nationwide tour, the Real Over Perfect Project. Workshops in high schools, community centers, even senior homes, teaching digital literacy, emotional resilience, and the power of unfiltered truth. I said yes, because the greatest revenge against those who steal your story isn't destruction. It's creation. It's building something so honest, so human, so fiercely real that no filter, no lie, no stolen image can ever dim its light. And as I packed my camera bag for the first workshop in Seattle, I finally understood what Lena had been searching for all along. Not someone else's perfect life, but the courage to live her own. I couldn't give her that, but I could give it to everyone else. Justice wasn't Lena's apology or the $47,000 returned. It was the day a stranger's wedding invitation reminded me that the most powerful revenge is helping others choose real love over perfect lies. There are moments in life that seem small when they happen. You don't stop to question them, you just move on. But sometimes those small moments grow into something much bigger. This is one of those stories where everything made sense. Just a little too late.